come in, Coop. Or Merlin. Come on in, buddy. Come. Come in, please. Come on. I want to do this. I'm very excited to do this video. Oh, it came! It finally came! Oh, hey! Hello, my friend. I didn't see you there. But I'm actually very excited that you decided to click on this video because, as you just saw there, my Glock 19 Generation 6 just came in today. I'm very excited to crack this open and see what's inside. And I'll be happy to share it with you. So this is Matthew, aka the Nuclear Cyborg. It is April 21st and it's currently 12:43 in the PM. That's Eastern Standard Time. I live in Kentucky. So, all right. So let's see what's all in here. I can't wait to get in there. I've been waiting a long time for this. Let me see the receipt that I received when I actually paid for this gun. I have been waiting for. This was paid for on February 27th. So it is currently, like I said, this is April 21st. So been waiting well over a month for this gun. I am super excited. And I know prices may vary depending on where you're at, but I pay $620 for this gun. So, but I am super excited. I can barely contain my excitement here. So please stick around and let's crack this thing open together. Alrighty, guys, let's do this because I am very excited. Let's go ahead and crack this thing open. Now, I have to say, right before we crack it open, it seems like they packed a lot in here. It seems like the case is barely big enough for all that they've packed in here. I don't know what's all in here. So let's see. Can get it open? Open up! I want to get in here. Oh well, one of the clips just broke off. There we go. All right, let's see. We've got this thing cracked open. I'll try to angle the camera down onto the gun in case that way you can all see what's inside. All right. So it looks like we have the gun itself. Let's start there. And of course, the very first thing we want to do is we want to check this. So we're going to drop the magazine that's inside. The magazine is empty. And the gun, we're going to pull it back. Nothing is in the gun. So the gun is clear. Okay, and it looks like they gave you 3 magazines. Wow. So you might not even need any more magazines. Because you got 3 15-round magazines. And then you got a magazine loader here, but I probably won't be using this one as I got one of my own. I like it. It works a little bit better. I'm actually looking at a different magazine loader, but that might come for a different video. Of course, for every single gun that they give you, I mean not just Glock, but any gun, they give you a lock. I say here in the bag too is also a cleaning brush. I have a cleaning kit that has all sorts of brushes, all sorts of rods, and all sorts of things to clean. So, but that's very nice that they've included that cleaning brush there. See what else we got here. We got here the plates. So if you decide to, they included some plates. So if you decide to put a red dot or target to hit the target, a sight, and there you go, that's the word I'm looking for. So a sight, if you decide to put a sight on your Glock, you got the plates to do that, so you don't have to buy a plate. I've done that before. It's like buy the dot, you buy the red dot, and then they don't give you the proper plate, so you got to pay for that too. So it's almost like the red dot that you just paid over $100 for is utterly worthless because it doesn't fit with the plates that they give you. So Glock gave you some, so hopefully it'll work. Now I probably won't be using these. These are the back straps that are included. I have a small hand already, so like I said, I probably don't need to be using these. Okay, so here we've moved the gun and the magazines over to the side. Now here over in the little folder part. It's underneath the flap here. What do we got? Sometimes this stuff comes out, but it actually feels like it's stuck inside. So what else we got in here? We got the envelope from. Okay, so we got a warning in here. What's the warning say? Unloading procedures. Read all warnings. Blah blah blah. Yeah. I'm not a professional, but you know I'm pretty good at. I know how to fire a gun and treat guns with safety. And let's see what's inside the envelope here. Let's see. Okay, so the envelope's empty, so I have a brochure here. Sporting Foundation. QR code. Where's this supposed to lead us? Scan here to join the Glock community. We have another brochure here, Glock Perfection, Firearm Safety. And we have the user's manual. They didn't send a spent round. I thought Glock did that. My very first pistol was a Glock Generation 4, or Glock 19 Generation 4. And I'll tell you the story about why I don't have that gun anymore. But in that one, I remember that they sent you a spent round. So it tells you that, you know, they've tested the Glock, and it's functional. It works. So we'll put all this back in the envelope here. So we'll tuck this back in here, and then we're going to put the case aside. So we'll take the magazines out, and the pistol itself out, and we'll close this, and I'll just put this here on my floor, put it aside. So this is going to be a slight review. Again, I'm not a gun critic or a gunsmith or whatever else you want to call it, but so this is just going to be a straightforward user consumer review, and just my thoughts, and because so my first thoughts, I mean, this is definitely an upgrade from the pistol that I carry now, and I'll be featuring that pistol. I don't have another Glock to compare this one to, but I do have another 9mm pistol, so I'm going to be using that to try to compare this pistol. So right from the start, I mean, this is a total upgrade, this Glock, and I love the feel of this Glock, and I'm just enthused. I shot my brother's Glock Generation 6 19 when he got his around March. And so I fell in love with it, and I was like, I just gotta have one of these. I was in his gun shop, and I've said that before in several videos. My brother's gun shop. Now, I just want to clarify, it's not his gun shop. He works there, but he's kind of high up. He's the manager's like assistant or something like that. So he's very high. He is high up in the shop, but actually, both brothers work there. But anyway. My brother and now we all own one of these. That old first brother told me, texted me a few days ago, said that now we all own one of these. When he told me that mine was in, he called me, texted me yesterday, and I'm not sure how I missed his call, but my phone battery had been running low lately for a few days. I'm not sure what's wrong with the battery, but I had it on the charger, and that might be the reason. I'm not sure, but I digress. So back to the gun. So this is definitely an upgrade. Like I said, my pistol that I currently carry now has a 7-round capacity plus 1 in the chamber, and so these magazines, 15-round magazines right here, plus 1 in the chamber. I carry in the chamber. That's my personal preference. If you don't for your choice, then or your reasoning, perfectly fine. This is what I decide. I always carry in the chamber because I'm like, if you're gonna defend yourself, you don't have time to tell a person, oh wait, I got a rack around. So anyway, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I got 8 more rounds, or 8 or 9 more rounds in this gun, and so that is a definite upgrade right from the start. Now, I've tried to come up with a systematic way of comparing the two pistols that I have here. Let me show you my other pistol. So we'll just rack this one right now, just to make sure that, it's empty. That there's nothing in the gun. This is the Glock. Okay, now I'm getting out this is going to be my backup weapon from now on. Now I have to unload this one. So dropping the magazine from this gun, putting that aside, dropping the bullet inside the chamber, putting that aside. This is empty as well, okay? This is a Kimber Micro 9, and I've put about 2,000 rounds through this pistol. I love this pistol. Definite differences between this and the Glock. Okay, so first off, I mean, this is a single stack, as why the Glock is a double stack. So, but I have some comparisons here on my phone that I pulled up beforehand. Let's see. Online. So let's go online. Let's go to tabs. Okay, so here comparing the Glock. So the length of the Glock 19 Generation 6 is 7.28 inches. So from the barrel to the back, okay, so from the tip of the barrel right here to the back, I guess to the end of the beaver tail. 7.28 inches. The height, 5.04 inches. So I guess from the top right here down to underneath where the magazine, where you put in the magazine right here, that's the height. And let's see, we have the width. So the width, 1.35 inches. So you have the width right here. And where you place your hand around and all that other stuff. Then we have the weight, 22. I'm not sure if that's pound. I don't know if that can't be pounds, grams. Because I mean, if it was 22 pounds, this thing would be near darn impossible to hold with one hand. 22. I'm not sure if that's grams. Certainly not pounds. But 22. And then I'm not sure again if that's just with the gun or if that's with the gun with a loaded magazine. That's the Glock. Now we'll see. We'll pull up the Kimber specs here. The Kimber Micro 9 right here. We have let's rack the slide. That's going to be another thing too. This slide release is a little snappy or a little hard to release. So we have the length 6.1 inches. So from the tip of the barrel here to the back, again probably to the beaver tail, 6.1 inches. We have the height at 4.07 inches. So probably the top of the sight here, right down again where to the magazine, where you put the magazine in. And then the width is it's got two specifications or two specs here. 1.6 inches. So the width here, again, probably where you wrap your hand around the back of the grip and all that. That's probably the width of the gun right there. And the weight, it says, is 15. So again, I'm not sure what that is. It doesn't specify. Like I said, the other specs, it specified in inches. It doesn't specify what that number is. Is it grams, or it has to be? I'm guessing grams. It has to be grams. I don't know what else it could be. It's not. I don't think it can't be pounds. I mean, the Kimber is kind of heavy. I believe it's got a full metal slide and all that stuff, so it's a little heavier. But it's not. It can't be. It can't be pounds. But anyway, let's compare these side by side. So as we know, they're both empty. You know what? It's empty. The Kimber is empty, but the hammer is back. So let me pull the trigger. Ah, safety's on. It also has an external safety, which actually I'm not sure if I like or not. And the Glock does not have a external safety, so that's actually since I'll be telling you about the story about my first pistol, which was a Glock. So I didn't grow up with I didn't get used to one with an external safety. They had kind of like built-in internal safeties. But anyway, so moving on. So dropping that down. Okay. The hammer is back. So now let's try to compare these two side by side. Trying to be careful because I just don't want to scratch them and all that stuff. Now, right from the get-go, I can see, of course, the length is different. Obviously, the width is also different. You can see the width of the gun there on the grips. The weight is obviously different. I actually think in my hand the Kimber might weigh more than the Glock does. Is so weird. So we had a length, height. Obviously, the height is also different. You can see there inside the where the barrel is, the copper barrel for the Kimber, and then the black gloss looking barrel for the Glock. So you can see that too. So these are definitely different. Like I said, this is probably going to be my backup weapon now. I have a holster for that. I'll show you. Now, we'll make another segment as we move on to some of my other observations and thoughts. So stick around. Okay, guys. So some other observations that I make on this gun. Obviously, I think the first one that strikes me or I notice is obviously the grip. I've watched a lot of videos in between ordering and picking this up about the Glock Generation 6 or Glock 19 Generation 6, and not everybody talks about how the grip is a lot more for lack of a better term, rough, but it's not rough. Like, it's not going to hurt your hand or anything like that. But it gives you a good grip to hold on to. And I noticed that actually I already have shot this gun. I've put 150 rounds through it just to break it in, and while I got it, so I have actually shot this gun already. I shot my brother's as well. Put about 200 rounds through his. So I have shot this gun. It shoots very well. But anyway, so the grip gives you a nice grip on the gun, the handle, and the handle, of course, as a lot of people have pointed out, wraps around the whole gun. You got it here in the back, so your palm that holds up against the back of the gun is gripped, and then your palm or the front of your hand around your fingers grips it too, and your thumb grips it, and your fingers wrapping around it. It's also there under the trigger, more grip. So you get a nice firm grip on here. Now, you have these, what I noticed people calling them gas pedals. I'm not really sure. I tried to use that while I was shooting, but I have since I have small hands, my either pointer finger that I rested there or my thumb, whenever sorry, pointing the gun at the camera. Uh, what I was saying is that with every jolt from the bullet, every time I pulled the trigger and disarmed and shot around, it would cause my finger to slip off that. So I'm not sure if I'll be needing that gas pedal. Now, a lot of people pointed out how the trigger had been kind of carved out there, and gives the you can get a better grip up on there underneath the trigger guard. I'm not sure if that helped when I was shooting earlier, but that's very nice. I like how it does that. They what were they calling it? I can't remember. Glock finger or something like that. And they said that annihilated that, and also maybe the beaver tail too would annihilate that, or help fix that problem. Now, something that I want to move on to something that I've heard a lot on videos. They talk about the trigger and how some people don't like the trigger because they call it was a flat trigger. Now, I noticed here as I'm looking at it, it's got this like trigger within a trigger in the middle there. You can see that. That's what I originally grew up with. That internal trigger, internal guard there, safety. So if you don't pull back on both of these, the inside and the outside trigger, the gun will not discharge. So that's what I grew up with, not any external safeties. Something else I noticed about this is that people were saying that the mag release, since I'm left-handed, it's here on the left-hand side. Now I believe I can change it, but something that I've developed over time since a left-handed person living in a right-handed world. You just develop some skills if you can call them that. I just kind of like shift my grip a little bit, depress the mag release, and that's usually how I do it. I probably won't have to switch it to the other side. And I like the grip, and here that you can put your finger around in front of the trigger guard right here. That also I think helped me get greater purchase on this gun. So what else were people talking about? They were also talking about the how. So let me think about my terms here. The break, the wall, and the break of the trigger. I didn't find any problem with shooting this gun at all. So, as we already know, the gun is empty. So they say that when you pull it back, it is a pretty good trigger pull. So I'm pulling the trigger. I think that's the wall right here, but I'm not exactly sure. But you got to keep pulling it to break, and that's so pulling. Yeah, so I pull a little bit. About counting in my head, it's about 2 seconds. 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's about 2 seconds to get to the wall, and then you have to keep pulling it. Will be another second for the trigger to break, and the round will come out. I don't find a problem with that at all. So I love and I love the beaver tail. Now, this I guess I'll go ahead and tell you that story. My very first pistol was a Glock 19 Generation 4. Now, I say keep in mind when I say first pistol, I guess I didn't know how to fire a pistol because one of the reasons that I got a Glock was because TV shows, movies. I grew up watching The Fugitive and U.S. Marshals. Deputy Gerard, Tommy Lee Jones, but things and in real life, people telling me that Glocks are notorious for shooting all the time. Hardly any, if any, or no. Um, Sorry, I'm thinking my terms here. Um, Snags. Something. It's not the term, but it'll come to me. Let me just move on. Keep moving on. Um, I kept getting those snags. So it's like when I would fire the gun, I couldn't hold. I didn't hold it firmly, so it would go up like this. I would just let it go up like that, and that would jam. See, I told you the term would come to me if I could just kept talking. So jam. So I guess it kept just jamming, and I got. I mean, it was notorious for me getting a jam with the Glock 19 Gen 4. So I eventually traded in, and so I guess now sometime in March, I guess now I was just walking past the Glock cabinet at my brother's store, and I was just like, I wonder if I should get a Glock now. Because, I've had the Kimber, but like I told you, I've shot over 2,000 rounds through that. And, I have a Ruger Mark IV, and I think those are the only two handguns I have that I regularly use. I do have a Charter Arms 38 Special, a revolver. I don't use it as much because uh, I find it hard to fire a revolver double action. I don't. I think it's way too much of a trigger pull. I can fire it if it's in single action, but I don't think in in a situation where you have to defend yourself that you would have time to pull back on the hammer and then be able to fire a round in a revolver. So I don't carry my revolver very much, but I do shoot it from time to time. But anyway, let's move on. So the Glock here, I mean, it's very nice. I love this gun. This is going to be my primary carry again. Um, Now, something I've noticed that a lot of people say is that here the slide release. I don't think I've ever had a problem with that, but people were saying that sometimes when they held their gun, and were firing their gun, their finger would come back, and as the slide came back, their finger was near nicked the slide stop, and it would snag the slide. The slide would stay back instead of going forward and racking the next round. And so they put that little guard around it. I didn't have a problem. Again, I have small hands, so I don't think I would have that problem. Uh, Reaching around here in my thumb, so my thumb right here, and reaching the slide on the other side, I can't get my thumb around it, so I don't think I would have a problem with that. Um, I think those were the only like two like er, every kind of review I saw was not exactly negative, but they most of them were positive. Most people were as enthusiastic as I am about getting this gun, but some were not as enthused. They had not negative comments, but less than positive comments, and so I think the trigger was that, and then let's see what else. The trigger, I think it was. It was a flat trigger, and then the trigger pull, I think, were the main complaint that people had, and then also the slide release right here guard that they were talking about. Now, I just shot this gun. I'm not sure how dirty it's going to be inside after just 150 rounds, but I'm gonna crack this open along with my Kimber. Well, maybe not the Kimber. The Kimber hasn't been shot. It doesn't need to really be opened, I guess. But this one also has a beaver tail on it, has an external hammer on it, which is kind of weird. I had to get used to this because what I originally wanted to do, it also has the external safety. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a racked round, but I didn't want the hammer back. So what I wanted to be able to do is that in a situation where I had to defend myself if one arose, was to press down on the external safety and then pull my thumb down to uh, pull down the hammer and cock the gun ready to shoot. Uh, I couldn't figure out how to do that, so it's just always been chamber has always been racked. The hammer has always been in the downward position by the right there sitting on the beaver tail, and I've just kept the I've just had to get used to using this right here this is right here the external safety. So it doesn't have a color on it. Some external safeties, like some external safeties do, but I just say that up, it's in safety. Down is when you're going to take somebody down. So that's the fire position. Down, up is the safety position. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna see if I can take this one apart and see what's inside. So if you stick around for that. Okay, my friends, let me see if I remember how to take down this gun. If I remember correctly, these. Well, let me locate them first. Okay, right here, these little things pull down. There's one on the other side too, so you pull them both down. So again, well, just to check again, the gun is empty. The gun is empty. So what I think you're supposed to be able to do is grip the back of the slide, pull it back a little bit, and then pull these down, release the slide, and pull the trigger, and it should come off. Well, sort of came off. Okay, it came off. Okay, so we have the bottom portion of the gun with the trigger and the grip, and then we have the slide with the spring and stuff. Now they were telling me that the spring is different. The Gen 4, just looking at this spring and guide rod here, is different from what I remember. The Gen 4, it looked like it was like fatter right here where you stick it into the end of the gun, and then it was like fat, and then it got thinner that you put up against the barrel, the bottom of the barrel. So let's take this out. And again, whenever you're taking the spring out of a pistol, you have to be careful. So I want to see how easy or hard this is. Well, it's not that bad. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely different from what I remember. Like I said, it was like fat. Half of it was fat, really big around, and the other part was about this size. So a different. That was something they were saying. Heard and seen in a lot of reviews, is that they went back and this is like the original spring and guide rod, and actually the spring is I just noticed this. The spring is part of the guide rod, so a lot of, especially in my Kimber, when you take it apart and you get the spring in the guide rod. The spring usually comes off, and then the guide rod is underneath. This is not this. That'll be nice. So I'm always worried about losing the spring and from the guide rod in my Kimber. So that's nice. So put that aside. Now let's see. Lift the barrel out. The barrel looks pretty nice. Pretty standard. What I remembered. And then we have the slide. Now this, as I've heard, as I'm aware of, this is as far down as you need to break it down if you're going to clean it. It does look a little dirty, um, but as a Glock, is being notorious for shooting every time and not having to clean it, and my brother says he's gone a long time without cleaning his guns. Excuse me. I might clean this the next time I go to the range, so I'm not sure when that will be. I'll share with you another part. I bought a part to buy with this, or to pair with this, and then that actually brings up another thing that I want to discuss with you. One other thing that people were not being negative about, but complaining about, they weren't exactly positive about, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. So that's as far as you needed to break it down. That nice brush that came with it, the cleaning brush that came with it, but it didn't come with any kind of cleaning rod. So, like I said, the cleaning kit that I bought has rods inside. It has springs. It has brushes inside. It has kind of like a foam pads inside. It has a box of. It came with a box of cleaning patches, but of course, you can buy patches yourself and then replenish that little box there. So that's what I use. Plus, I use Remington oil as lubricant. Now, again, when I first bought the Generation 4 Glock, I saw a couple of videos then, and everybody was using Remington oil as a cleaner, not just as a lubricant. Well, or both, cleaner and lubricant. But when I was cleaning one of my guns one day in front of my brother, he said, "Is that all you use?" And I said, "Yes. I've seen people use just Remington oil to clean their pistols." And he said, "Well, that's Remington oil is not a cleaner; it is a lubricant." So I'll see if I can get those. I think I've shown them in one other of my gun related videos. The things I use, that I do have a cleaner now, and then I do still use Remington oil as a lubricant. So now let's see if we can put this back together. So we just take the barrel, we slide that down into the gun, press it back. Okay, and then let's see here. So we have this side of the spring. It has a little hole in there in the center, you can see. And on this side you have a raised little circle here. So this the part that I think goes on the outside. This side will go up against the end of the barrel, I think. So let's try that. Being left-handed sometimes, it's rough because you can't see what you're doing. Your left hand covers it up. And this is the hardest part, where you have to be really careful with the spring. It doesn't look like it's in there, right? Okay. There it goes. It looks like it's in there now. Okay. So, opposite of what we did to release it, so I guess you match up the rails, slide it back, again pull the slide, push or pull the slide back. It's not going, so I don't think it's on the rack right, on the rails right. So let's see. Maybe you have to pull these down first. That does, but my hand can't get my hand on those. Okay, so let me see what I'm doing here. So maybe you have to press down on, yeah, there we go. You have to press down on the, well, no, maybe not. What I did is I pressed a little bit on the spring, pressing it like kind of like inside. Got to get inside the gun. So let's try that. Okay, so now the slide's on. So again, as I think, pull it back, and then pull down on these slides again. Release the slide and pull. No, let's see here. It's been a while learning how to put a Glock back together. Oh, it just snapped. I just heard a snap. I wonder if that was it. Oh, the trigger's not pulling. Oh, wait, no. There it is. I got it. So what I did is I was pulling as I was pulling the slide up against the rails inside. I pulled it back. I didn't touch these two tabs on the side here. I pulled it back. I was pulling the slide back, and I heard a snap. So it snapped into place. So it's empty. So we know that it's empty. Now the before I forget, it was the sights. That's what other people were not necessarily complaining about, but always were pointing out that the Glock plastic sights are not that good. I'll show you the target here too that I have. The first target that I used with the Glock here. I didn't find a problem with these sights. I do kind of think they're cheap. This little like U in the back that you look through, that's just above the beaver tail, and then the dot right there on the front of the barrel. You know, they're just white. So you have the white dot there and the little like U you center it through. I think at first glance it does look kind of cheap, but I shot very well with this. But let me see if I can find those sights. Here they are. Right here, I got these sights that my brother recommended. Let's see. Suppressor Optic Height Sights by Trijicon. Trijicon. So I got these. Now I stayed at the gun shop for a while. The gunsmith was supposed to be there today. He ended up not showing up. I got there about this morning, about 11:15. Got my Glock. I had to sign the papers and all that other stuff. The Glock was already paid for, but I still had to go through that process. And so I got that. I waited around a bit because I needed some ammo. And then he didn't. Again, they said he was supposed to be around noonish, so I waited. And then I went to the range and shot off some. He still wasn't there after I got out. So I had lunch at the little restaurant that they have connected to the gun shop. He still wasn't there when I got out. So I don't know what was the issue today. The gunsmith did not show up. So I'll just keep these with me in my case, my backpack or whatever that I take to the gun. Well, I take with me to the gun shop or gun range. Next time I see him, I ask him to put these on. Now, excuse me, I was considering putting a red dot on the Glock because that was something a lot of people were saying if they made an improvement on this gun is that the two screws you see here are this is the let's see. Yeah. So right here, that you take these off. Take this one that's off. You unscrew it here at the Glock, the plates right here from those two screws, and unscrew that plate. And these plates, some of these plates will match whatever red dot or sight you try to put on there. But since I got these, my brother recommended these. I'll put these on first, and then we'll see after that if I want to put a red dot on it or not. So that's what I'm gonna do first. All right, so let's move on. Let's see what else I can show you. Let me see what else I want to show you next. Hold on. Okay, guys. The next thing I want to show you, the holster that I got for this gun. I bought it or paid for it, purchased it a while back. Soon after I purchased this gun, thinking that they would be here at similar same time, and it did work out pretty well. But the holster actually arrived before I was able to purchase this gun. So the holster that I bought right here, this is for the Glock 19 Generation 6, obviously. I think I'm going to have to tighten some of these screws down. The gun comes out of the holster a bit too easy, I think. So as you can probably tell, it just comes out a bit too easy. And then I'm saying here that the back here, that goes inside the waistband, inside your waistband or inside your belt, and this is outside the waistband holster. It's my preference. I know every carry position has its advantages and disadvantages, but for comfort is something that that tends to win out for me. Just outside the waistband is just a lot more comfortable than inside the waistband or in my appendix or behind my. I do like wearing it at the small of my back, but the problem there is I worry about somebody seeing it and then coming up behind me and and stealing it or reaching in there and pulling it out. So this is just the preference. I usually carry on my left hip, but I've recently started toying around with cross draw, so wearing it towards my right hip. But we'll see. And so, but I'm gonna have to probably tighten these screws down because as you can see, it's kind of flapping around. Oh, and one of the screws just fell off. Let me see here. There it is. It's under my desk. Just a moment. So yes, I'm going to have to tighten those down. Now, this holster is from WeThePeople.com, and I bought one too for my Kimber. That's going to just have something like says something about the Second Amendment on it. It's supposed to be like a grayish color. I thought would kind of match the gray color of this pistol, and so that's on the way. Since they're custom made, so it takes a while to come. So this is the holster that I have for it. Now after I get done, I'll try to see if I tighten these screws down. Getting an Allen wrench somewhere. I'm sure I have several Allen wrenches around here. Let me just see if I can just put this in there and screw it in. Nah, it's at a weird angle, so I'll just set it aside. Okay. I think I have one other thing I'd like to share with you about these two guns, and then that'll probably be the end of the video. Alrighty, guys, we're about to wrap up this video, but this is the last thing I wanted to share with you. This is the first target that I shot with the Glock. This skeleton-like target is the one that I prefer when I go to the range. It just has the nice colors on there, and I like to think that every color it has a different spot. As you can see around the bottom here, the intestines, you have the orange area, which I tend to think is a worse part than anything that's green. Although shooting in the lungs, or somewhere in the inner intestines, the large intestines, small intestines, anywhere really, I think would hurt or be bad. But here you got the lungs too. So as you can see from the head, shooting in the brain, I do have a few that were not off target, 1, 2, or 3 that were off target. But for the most part, I mean, I tore this big old hole inside somebody's brain. It's gonna hurt. And then I think there's one right there by right above his jaw or his mouth or his lip, right there by the right below the nose. I think that was the one when I was trying to aim for the pistol. I wasn't able to hit the pistol this time, but it's pink, so I think when pink tends to think that I'm like what my thought is when I'm if you take somebody's weapon away, you know, they're not really gonna hurt you. Then of course you got the windpipe down here, and I was able to hit him right in the center there. Now moving up, some of these are like not hit a color, kind of off target. But you see right there the shoulder. That's still gonna hurt somebody, even if it's not in a very vital spot. But and then you see the lungs here that were covered by two other targets. So obviously, I tore up the lungs. You can see that there, a big hole in one of the lungs, and then some there in the lower intestines. And so, and the targets I put on here, the upper one here, the top one, is the Kimber when I was trying to compare them. So that's how I shot for the Kimber. And the one on the bottom is the Glock. So I was just trying to compare. I probably shot the best, or the same for each one, really. It does seem to me that my shots tend to, when I'm shooting at somebody's center, are more on target than when I'm shooting. It's just elevation. It's just, when somebody's taller than you, shooting up at an angle at somebody's head or somebody's brain, you're just going to be a little off target. But I think I did pretty good with the with the Glocks. I mean, I think anybody would mess with me after they've seen this target. Anyway, I think that's about it. Here's one other thing I'm gonna share with you. This is the holster currently that I'm using for my Kimber. I can't remember where I purchased this. I think maybe on the Kimber website. It's fitted leather. So this took a while as well to get here. On the back here, I'm trying to. Is a symbol of an eagle, but I can't. Is that Falcon? I can't really see it. But as you saw, even though I'm gonna have to tighten them down, but that flap on the We the People holster is going to be a little bit easier once I tighten them down and get them right. This is is metal and is like fixed in place, and so tightening it up or trying to lift it up and put it on my holster or put it on my belt or side inside the waistband, whatever. It's very hard. So I for the Kimber, I think I've gone through at least half a dozen holsters, and I can't really decide which one is best for it. This is the best one I have, I think, for it. There's one that I like that I purchased from off Amazon. I don't really think it has a brand, but it's like ambidextrous. You can use it for all sorts of pistols, and it's also got a place for an extra magazine, and it's so big around that it's soft. It's really soft. It's like fox leather, and so it wraps around your torso or whatever else, contours to your body, and then again, it's ambidextrous, so you can put it on your left hip or put it on your right hip. But the only thing, though, it does have a place for a spare magazine. But the problem is that since I'm left-handed, the pouch for the spare magazine is further back. So it's if I now that I'm fooling around with wearing it on my right towards my right hip for a cross draw, I might be able to use that and be able to pull a spare magazine out if I ever had to in a defense situation that would call for self defense. But yeah, finding a holster for the Kimber is going to be really hard. So I ordered another one from weedthepeople.com, and like I said, the one for the Glock here says "We the People" on it, and but the other one for the Kimber that's coming is going to say something about the Second Amendment on there. So anyway, I'm hoping that you enjoy this video because I really like this video. I am super enthused about this gun. I'm not exactly sure what happened when I purchased my first pistol and Glock Generation 4. I just didn't know how to hold a gun. That has to be the only thing. A few other last thoughts here. A few also people were talking about the indentions in the slide here, how it's cut a little bit easier. When I was racking, now I can rack it. I can pull it back with my thumb and finger without racking it around pretty easily. But when I'm racking around, it's a little bit tougher pull. So I'm not sure about that. I usually don't pull back the slide to chamber around with my thumb and finger. I usually do it with my whole hand. I prefer to have it. You're only using your thumb, and really thumb is not a finger. Some people might not call it a finger. The first finger, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, thumb. So it's not a thumb. Thumb is not a finger. Some might say. Anyway, but you only have two things, finger or not, or finger or thumb, and maybe just half of your pointer finger pulling back on the slide. But here I got my whole hand, all fingers plus my thumb plus a little bit of my palm. I can rack a chamber or rack around a little bit easier, or a lot easier. So I don't know. And then of course they say that they got them on the front. I don't usually other guns. My Kimber also has some kind of like something towards the front of the slide there. Yeah. Let's see. What's up with this? Okay. The safety was on. I guess maybe that's why I couldn't rack around. But let's see if I can pull it from the front. Yeah. Actually, that for the Kimber, that's actually very nice. I don't know why I've never tried that before. Huh. Now let's see if I can for the Glock. Wow. I need to start for the front. I can actually do it on the front. I feel like I got a better grip, a better purchase with my thumb and half a finger on the front of the slide. I need to look into that. Wow, that's something I just discovered. But, okay. Let's just give it a one more once over. I think that really is all. I am in love with this gun. I said this is going to be my primary carry gun from now on with the Kimber. Here, this is the one. Since I said this Kimber is going to be my backup weapon now. I have this. I'm not sure where I found it, but it's an ankle rig. The only thing about this is that the Kimber, being a micro pistol, it sits a bit too far down into the holster. I mean, to draw. I mean, it's a little hard to draw because it sits so far down in there. But but as a backup weapon, you might not need to pull that one. Plus, like I said earlier, or maybe I didn't say it, but one of my philosophies is that if you can't defend yourself with 5 bullets or less, you're dead. So, this has 15 rounds plus one if you want to put one in the chamber. So if you can't defend yourself with 15 rounds, and then remember if you're carrying an extra magazine and you need to pull out your second your backup weapon, I don't know. You might already be dead by then. I don't know. Situation would really be different about that. So, but I wonder if I have any Allen wrenches in here in my desk anywhere. I might, because I got Allen wrenches all over the place. I can't find any at the moment. But I know I have tons of Allen wrenches out there, all over the place. So anyway, I think I'm gonna finally close this video. This is a very nice pistol. My brothers have been telling me that Glock is a good standard, pretty much gold standard of what pistols, self-defense pistols should be like. And the Glock 19 in general, everybody had been saying on the videos that I've been watching before I was able to get mine, is that this is a good all-around pistol. It's small enough that you can conceal, but it has enough power to actually stop somebody if you need to. It's got great round capacity, and it always shoots. And from my experience, it shoots. My experience today, it's pretty accurate. So this is an all around good pistol. I saw a video about a couple, wife and a husband. They were comparing the Glock 19 Gen 6 to the Glock 22 Gen 6, which I think are pretty much the same gun. The 22 is just a full handgun. Whether this is kind of compact for concealed carry, while the 22 is pretty much big gun that's it's going to get noticed, hard to conceal. But I'm very happy with this gun. So, okay. I think I've rambled on enough, and I think I've said that I'm going to close this video enough. So I'm finally going to close this video now. Anyone that watched, thank you all for clicking on. Thank you for clicking on this video. I appreciate it. I'll have a couple of subscribers. I get a couple comments. I read every single comment because I don't get very many of them. And I try to respond to the comments, but it tells me that people are watching the videos, and it is my dream to. I've seen other channels that have the plaques in the back with YouTube that have tried to that have reached a certain level of subscribers, certain number of subscribers. I only have 2, but you got to start somewhere. So it is my goal, my dream to someday have a plaque sitting behind me. That I've reached a certain level of membership, subscribership, and some travel people that I've watched, for travel tips. They have theirs sitting in the back and on display. And another channel that I watch, Yee Life, that take guns, all sorts of guns, and they shoot almost anything and everything and see what happens. They reached a certain level of subscribers, and they were they shot up their plaques from YouTube, and I just thought that was so funny. All right then, thank you for watching. If you can like this video, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like on this video. I'd ask you to subscribe to this channel. You can leave a comment down below. Constructive criticism is welcome. I know I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be. It's lucky I don't do this for a living, because I'm not very good at it. But anyway, so like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you know the next time I drop one of these kinds of videos. So thank you all for watching. Y'all have a great day.